a sea of living will, the ground trembling beneath every figure. The sky bends as Wu awakens the pulse of war, and every voice becomes fire. Aeon lifts his hand, shaping chaos with a presence that burns like ancient stone. In tenebris surgima, in votum gloriae, in flammis destinorum. The entire field reorganizes under his fierce silence. The myriads follow the rhythm of his mind, a hidden blade defining pathways. The light of Kaiosinu pulses and spears in skin, in eyes that see before time moves. Per ignem bellemus, per sanguinem crescimus, per voluntatem ascendimus. The first enemy lines crash against the Wu wall, like waves against mountain. The legion's energy roars, tearing the night and ripping down in a single gesture. Jean draws 3 routes, opening corridors of luminous destruction. Et lux insurgit, et hostus cadunt, et voluntas regnat super speculum mundi. The ground fractures under the collective strike, war becoming rhythmic breath. Every step of the legion echoes like hammers shaping destiny itself. Sean guides the masses with a flick of his finger, the universe unfolding as his secret map. In aeternum pugnomus, in aeternum surgimus, in aeternum regnabit anima ardens. The enemy, seeing the legion's full form, hesitates, trembles, retreats. Wu's warriors shine like devouring presence, forged from predatory flames. Sean gathers the final impulse, and the charge erupts like lightning born from silence. Ignis imperat vox tonatum bradevorat, the last echoes of resistance. The Wu wall advances, whole unified, inevitable. War bows surrendered and torn between screams and glory. The field vibrates with this first triumph, a promise of what will soon bloom in fire. E cor legionis triumphaticem vocat, et mundum distiscit venit in horizonte. Silence returns, but breathes hot and wide. does not tire, does not fear, does not forget. It thrives within the light of battle. Shun looks to the sky, and the sky answers, knowing this was only the beginning. Gloria Fortium, Lumen Aeternum, Pax Fracta, in an end that is not an
killing vectors. In nocticidrum surgimus, in voci amorum resonamus, awakening old power. Inside the vessels, warriors breathe in unity, their armor glowing with predatory calm. The hum of the engines merges with the pulse of thousands awaiting the first strike. Venlo lifts his hand and formations lock into precision beyond mortal geometry. Nascitur Imperio! Engines roar like ancient titans as the fleet tears through drifting nebulae. Each ship becomes a luminous blade, carving wounds through the silent Black Sea. Venlo turns the outer rings inward, spiraling them like fangs closing on a throat. Et vox imperii sona deturus, fulgent et hostis sentient fatalem adventum. The armada shifts into tri-layer formation, a moving wall of fire and disciplined wrath. Energy fields coil around the hull, shimmering with the hunger of forged destiny. Vanla reads possibility like scripture, mapping safe paths through collapsing futures. Assault cruisers bloom outward, tearing the void as arcs of plasma strike deep. Dreadnoughts thunder from the central spine, bending gravity with each release from Is like a verdict across the cosmos. The first shockwave marks the rise of Wu upon the trembling star field.
Et coram ate triumpha, et bello regitet universum, agnoscit potentiam
Silence returns as a simmering omen, heavy with unspent fire. The Armada steadies itself in perfect formation, awaiting the next horizon. Vanla gazes into the infinite dark, already shaping victories not yet born. Glory aside from Lumina Mate, Pax Fracta in Umbra Futura Belli.
shadow of war. Reality itself. Every collapse echoing through broken constellations. 9 stellar dominions rise behind Wu, spiraling as pillars carved from living fire. Rin, Oyo, Sha, Jin, Kai, Retsu, Zen ignite in orbit around his hands. Lux Hegemonies surgit, Ignis regnat, Formae stellarum redantaduna. From the other side of the void, the tetragrammaton Wu awakens. Shadows of living intention. Juji pierces the dark. Muha sustains the breath. Sangjin reveals the hidden edge. Shinmu opens the void. Their radiance bends the battlefield as laws tremble, forgetting their own origins. In voce tetratis moventur fata. In silence io mutatur lex, in vacuum nascitur potestas. Wu brings both hands together, and the universe recoils as the 9 and the 4 collide. Stellar power dissolves into sigils. Ancestral will devours them like fire consuming wind. The fusion erupts into a single impossible state, a name that fractures meaning itself. Wu Sinmu, Wu descends, and the world kneels beneath its alchemical gravity. The battlefield compresses inward, folding into a transparent sphere without horizon. Warriors and enemies drift as raw elements inside a cosmic crucible of living geometry. The 6 primal layers separate movement, intention, spirit, void, truth, and sacred resonance. In caldario mundi ferved ordo, in igni mutatur anima, in throno renascitur forma. Who raises his voice, forging command into law, as the crucible brightens to a blinding core. And the decree tears through matter like a blade of silent dawn. Energy, fate and memory dissolve, feeding the throne that pulses beyond the sky. Peredictum regis cadunt legis, per thronum surgit ignis, per ignem and stay forever. Vox regis tonatum, brafugit ignis coronat omnis vias inevitabilis ascensiones. Wu strikes his palms and the cosmos bends, descending into the crucible as living light. The throne rewrites foundations, forging new architecture from the death of the old world. Everything becomes elixir, everything becomes fuel, everything becomes ascent. Et cosmos cadit et thronas lustet et vus in movu regnat super omnia in aeterno.